In this bulletin, about 32,000 residents on the mid-north coast remain isolated as floodwaters recede. Some economists say a proposed super tax bill may create unfair outcomes. And in sports, Lando Norris wins the Monaco Grand Prix. Good morning from the SBS Newsroom. I'm Assam Al-Ghalib. About 32,000 people remain isolated by floodwaters along the New South Wales coast as meteorologists warn of more challenging weather conditions ahead. Recovery efforts are underway in flood-affected communities, with the damage expected to take weeks to clean up. But rain and strong winds are expected to hamper efforts, with the risk of landslides and toppling trees in coming days. Senior meteorologist Gabrielle Woodhouse says the Bureau will likely expand the areas covered by its severe weather warning.
But what we're going to see going into the next couple of days is a very strong cold front move across New South Wales, and that's going to bring very windy conditions to most areas. So what we're expecting is the severe weather warning that is current for the alpine area of New South Wales. That warning area is going to expand to include parts of southwest New South Wales, as well as parts of the Snowy Mountains and the ACT for winds increasing on Monday.
Some economists say a proposed bill imposing a 15% tax on super balances over $3 million has the right intentions but may create unfair outcomes. The Australia Institute says the bill would affect around 1 in every 200 savers, but some fear it may force Australians to move assets out of their super. Independent economist Saul Eslake says super has become a vehicle for the rich to avoid tax, but questions why it's being imposed on super rather than on housing. He says it may encourage wealthy people to put more into owner-occupied housing, which is exempt from tax. Speaking to Sky News, Liberal Senator Andrew Bragg says while the system can be improved, this is the wrong way.
But ultimately, the people who love the superannuation system, which are the financial institutions and the unions, should look very carefully at this, because ultimately, if Chalmers is successful in passing the bill as it's currently drafted, it will destroy superannuation as the preferred savings vehicle in Australia, particularly for millennials and Gen Zs.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers says no one has proposed a better way of making this calculation after almost 3 years of consultation. A major shopping centre in Melbourne's north went into lockdown on Sunday afternoon when a fight broke out between around 10 people, some armed with knives. 2 people have been arrested, including a 15-year-old, and 1 person was taken to hospital with serious injuries after a fight broke out in the food court of Northland Shopping Centre in Preston. Victoria Police say the meeting was pre-planned between the groups, assuring the public that this was not a random attack. Superintendent Kelly Lawson says police are still searching for all those involved.
There have been others identified, and police are working through identifying the remaining gangs. As you know, Victoria Police has a focus through Operation Alliance in relation to our gangs, and we will know who these people are, and it will not take very long to go and arrest them.
Coercive control is now a criminal offence in Queensland, with new laws coming into effect from today. Convicted offenders will face up to 14 years in jail. Called Hannah's Law, it's named after Hannah Clark, who was murdered alongside her 3 children by her estranged husband. Coercive control involves patterns of behavior which include emotional, psychological, and economic abuse, along with isolation, intimidation, sexual coercion, and cyberstalking. A Gaza doctor who lost 9 of his children in an Israeli airstrike remains in intensive care. Hamdi al-Najjar was at home in Khan Yunis with his 10 children when the strike hit. Only 1 child survived. At Nasser Hospital, surgeon Dr. Abdelaziz Al-Farra says the doctor has multiple injuries.
He's in a critical condition. They required 2 surgeries on his abdomen and chest to stop the bleeding. He's now receiving intensive care. His special situation is that his wife, who is also a doctor, also received the bodies of her 9 children. May God heal him and help all the medical teams to help him.
According to medical officials in Gaza, the 9 children were aged between 1 and 12 years old. The child that survived, a boy, is in a serious but stable condition. Dr. Najjar's wife, Ala, also a doctor, was not at home at the time of the strike. She was treating Palestinians injured in Israel's more than 20-month war in Gaza against Hamas in the same hospital where her husband and son are receiving care. Israel confirmed the airstrike, saying it targeted militants and is reviewing reports of civilian deaths. In sports, Lando Norris has celebrated his first Monaco Grand Prix win from pole position. He's also slashed McLaren teammate Oscar Piastri's Formula One lead to 3 points in a race more about strategy than speed. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc finished runner-up in the home race he won last year, with Piastri third and Red Bull's Max Verstappen fourth. All four finished in the order they started. Piastri says he's taking away the positives.
I knew after qualifying this was probably going to be where we ended up. So, that's all I can ask for, really. So, some definite lessons to take for when we come back here next year. But all in all, still not a terrible weekend in terms of points, and being on the podium in Monaco is always pretty special. So, I'll take it.
The win is the Brightons' second in 8 races and first since the Australian season opener in March, as well as McLaren's first at Monaco since 2008. With the latest from the SBS Newsroom, I'm Assam Al-Ghalib.